We begin this morning here in New York City, where a grand jury is set to reconvene to discuss a possible indictment against former President Donald Trump.
The former president is under investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney for making alleged hush payments to adult film actress Stormy Daniels back in 2016. Now the grand jury will decide whether charges should be brought forward. Trump denies any wrongdoing. Law enforcement officials are preparing for possible protests if Trump is indicted. A small number of his supporters have already started to gather after he called for protests on social media over the weekend. NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos will join us in a moment to discuss the proceedings. But first, let's begin with NBC News justice and intelligence correspondent Ken Delaney. Ken, good morning. So walk us through what we can expect to see today. What happens when this grand jury reconvenes? And do we know how Trump's team is preparing for the possibility of an indictment?
Good morning, Joe. Well, as you know, this is a secret proceeding, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen today. It's possible that this grand jury could vote on an indictment. It's possible that Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg could sum up the case for this body. They also meet tomorrow. What we do know is that our sources are telling us it's increasingly likely that Trump is going to be indicted this week, and we know that there have been security meetings involving the Secret Service, the Manhattan DA, the FBI, the NYPD about the possibility of Trump coming to New York to be booked and arraigned. As of yesterday, my colleague Jonathan Dietz had been reporting that the Secret Service had not yet conducted a security assessment of the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, which it would normally do before Donald Trump would go there. So that's one tea leaf we're reading. In terms of how the Trump team is responding, look, Donald Trump is attacking, as he always does, attacking the prosecution, attacking the process. There's some reporting in the New York Times that he is obsessed with the idea of being arrested and being paraded before the cameras in what's known as a perp walk. We're told that's unlikely to happen. He would be accompanied by Secret Service the entire time if he was brought to New York to be booked and fingerprinted. He would likely not be paraded in front of the cameras. But again, we're all waiting to see what happens this week, Joe.
Yeah, exactly. And despite all of this, and we don't know what's going to happen, but Trump is set to travel to Waco, Texas this weekend, really his first major campaign rally since announcing his third presidential bid. How would a possible indictment not only affect a weekend rally, but really his whole presidential campaign?
And that's something his advisors, we're told, are grappling with as we speak, Joe. And it's obviously this is uncharted territory. We've never been here before. And, you know, look, the Trump team has almost viewed this, all the legal challenges against him as an opportunity to attack the deep state and what they call, you know, the prosecutors who they say are out to get them. But it isn't just this case. Obviously, there are other investigations looming. Donald Trump could find himself campaigning for president and also having to appear in court on these various matters and having to plot a legal strategy. And these are very, very serious legal challenges that he's facing. And, you know, this is unprecedented. We've never seen this before.
All right, Ken Delaney with the latest on a possible indictment. Ken, thank you so much.
Now let's bring in NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos. Danny, good morning. So first off, can you just remind us what the grand jury needs to consider before coming to an ultimate decision?
Secret stuff. And by that, I mean, we don't know exactly what they're considering and what charges the prosecutor wants them to review. We know Michael Cohen has testified. But I find it hard to believe that the entire case that the prosecution may be building is balanced on the back of Michael Cohen. More likely, he may be authenticating documents, coming in and saying, no, this is a business record. And by that way, the prosecution can rely on documents and not necessarily Michael Cohen or some other flawed witness. Make no mistake about it, this will be a documents case. There are a lot of documents out there. Businesses generate things like tax records, financial statements, all kinds of other things, which leads me to believe that this whole Stormy Daniels avenue may be a bit of a misdirection because there are other potential crimes, state RICO charges, enterprise corruption charges, the idea that Trump may have used his companies to be the criminals and not him. That's the theory behind a RICO charge here. So hard to say what they're considering or even the crimes they're considering. We'll only know when they vote.
Help us understand, often in situations like this, it would usually be considered a misdemeanor. So why is it that this case could be elevated to a felony?
If they are going to charge him with falsification of business records, because there are other charges they can consider. But assuming for the moment they charge him with falsification, that is a default misdemeanor, a low-level crime. However, if the falsification is used to conceal another crime, it can get bumped up to a felony. That's where I think the prosecutors are going to have some problems, because these are untested theories. The idea that Trump may have violated election law, federal election law, by itself is problematic, because the normal rule is state prosecutors cannot enforce federal law. So can they use that federal law as a predicate to bump this falsification into felony land? It's a tough theory, and you don't want to go with a, novel theory if you're prosecuting and have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
And obviously, all eyes are on New York right now, particularly since the former president called for protests if he is arrested. But there are other investigations. So what's going on beyond New York when it comes to Team Trump?
Yeah, these other investigations, I thought, were far more likely to result in an indictment before the Manhattan DA's case. You have the federal investigation into documents. You have the federal investigation into January 6th. You have the state investigation in Georgia. All of these were better candidates, in my view, for an indictment or a charge, criminal charges for Trump. This one came as a surprise to me, because I've long thought that the strength of this case, at least if you're going Stormy Daniels Avenue, is not very strong.
A lot to watch here. Danny Savalos, thank you so much.
Fox News is facing more legal trouble this morning, tied to the defamation lawsuit filed by Dominion Voting Systems against the network. A Fox News producer, Abby Grossberg, is suing the network, alleging its lawyers coerced her into providing misleading testimony in the lawsuit. Grossberg, who worked with host Tucker Carlson and Maria Bartiromo, filed the lawsuits Monday night in New York and Delaware. Fox News denies Grossberg's allegations. Released a statement saying Grossberg's allegations in connection with the Dominion case are, quote, baseless, and we will vigorously defend Fox against all of her claims. NBC News senior reporter Jane Tim has been keeping tabs on this for all of us, joins us with more. Jane, good morning. So first of all, walk us through these allegations in Grossberg's lawsuit, because they don't just involve claims of pressure from Fox lawyers. She also alleges she experienced harassment and sexism in the workplace, right?
Joe, exactly. This lawsuit, she alleges that she was coerced and prepared badly for her deposition. But she says that it's part of a culture of sexism and harassment that basically set her and female colleague Maria Bartiromo up to take the fall for this in protecting other male colleagues and executives at the network. She says that there were vile sexist stereotypes at work, that women were verbally violated on an almost daily basis. She argues there's a larger trend, and that she wouldn't have said what she said in her deposition in the Dominion case if she had known the things she knows now. So this is definitely a very interesting lawsuit. I know Dominion's lawyers were likely reading it with great interest as they headed into court yesterday.
So what kind of role could this lawsuit from Grossberg play in the Dominion case against Fox News? And how likely is it that she could actually be asked to testify in that trial?
You know, she already appeared to be somewhat of a key player in this lawsuit. There's emails from her to her colleagues describing herself as the last line before air and the only person booking and writing Maria Bartiromo's show, the Sunday show, Sunday Morning Futures, in that sort of pre-election period. So already she was going to be a player in this. And the idea that she may have more to say than she said in her deposition could very much bump her up the list as somebody that they're going to want to call and have as a witness in this case.
So as all this is happening, Jane, today is the second day of pre-trial hearings in Dominion's lawsuit against Fox. Both Dominion and Fox News, they want to skip a trial, and they want the judge to rule now. How successful were both sides in trying to sway the judge yesterday, and then what can we expect today?
Yeah, they both say that the big issues can just be decided. There's so much evidence. And both sides say, look, we're totally in the right. Just clear this up now. Asking the judge for summary judgment. I think it's pretty unlikely we're going to get a full summary judgment. We may get a partial summary judgment ruling, something on parts of the case. But the judge cautioned yesterday not to read into his questions in court. So I think we're going to have to wait for his ruling before we can do anything. But we do know it is unexpected that it is going into a second day. So clearly it has taken a little longer than anyone expected, Joe.
All right. We know you'll keep tabs on it. Jane Tim, thank you so much. Turning now to an update in the unsolved death of a South Carolina man. The South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, otherwise known as SLED, has confirmed it has been investigating the death of Stephen Smith as a homicide since 2021. This news comes 3 weeks after the murder conviction of former attorney Alec Murdaugh. Smith's body was found on a rural road in Hampton County, South Carolina, about 15 miles away from the Murdaugh home. Authorities have yet to make an arrest or charge anyone for Smith's death.
Now to the economy. The Federal Reserve is expected to deliver its latest interest rate decision this afternoon. The central bank has been hiking rates aggressively to fight decades-high inflation. But all the recent worries in the banking system are casting doubt over whether the central bank will continue to do so. Many now blaming the rate rises for the financial turmoil. Nevertheless, banking stocks rallied yesterday after Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said the government was ready to intervene again if necessary to protect bank deposits.
Similar actions could be warranted if smaller institutions suffered deposit runs that pose the risk of contagion. The situation is stabilizing, and the U.S. banking system remains sound. The Fed facility and discount window lending are working as intended to provide liquidity to the banking system. Aggregate deposit outflows from regional banks have stabilized.
Joining us now to dig into this is Brian Sozzi. He's the executive director of Yahoo Finance. Brian, good morning. Thank you for being with us. So plenty of uncertainty over what the Fed will do today. The expectation is for a quarter-point hike, but some on Wall Street believe it could pause its hike. So sounds like a bit of a dilemma for the Fed. Will it raise rates? What's your take?
Yeah, this is probably one of the most confusing Federal Reserve meetings Wall Street has had to deal with of the past 2+ years. Now, if the Fed does come out and raise rates by 25 basis points, let's take a step back and really think about what that would mean. One, it would mean higher borrowing costs, even higher borrowing costs for consumers on if they want to buy a new pair of jeans or on their auto loans. But it also could send a sign to the broader stock market that maybe the Federal Reserve, who you would think has the best information in the game, maybe they know more about this banking crisis than they're leading on to believe. And investors should be more concerned about that. And perhaps stocks do sell off. So again, a very confusing Fed meeting. If you look through the prism of, let's say, tech stocks have rallied into this Fed meeting on the hope that the Fed does nothing on rates. But again, very tough one to handicap.
So, Brian, with that, how can the Fed reassure markets of financial stability? What other tools does the central bank have to ease these banking concerns, particularly if it does end up raising rates today?
I think we'd like to, along that line, you want to hear from Fed Chief Jerome Powell that he has the backs of the banks. And I think that tone has come out of Treasury, notably Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who came out yesterday in her comments saying, we will be here to mop up any mess, further mess coming from the banking system. I think you will hear that same tone from Jerome Powell today during his press conference. Why? Because he has to. He can't come out here and necessarily sound aggressive against banking executives, you name it. He has to come out here and voice confidence that he could come out here and address any further problems in the banking system. And there could be further problems. A lot of the sources that I talk to in the banking industry do expect more potential bank failures. Perhaps not a large one, but more bank failures are not what you want to see. And a lot of folks are locked in on small, medium-sized banks.
And, Brian, you referenced Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's remarks about the government willing to step in again to guarantee bank deposits. It seems the market welcomed those comments, with shares in First Republic Bank actually rallying yesterday after some major blows. So what do you make of what Yellen said exactly? Is the government doing enough?
Yellen, I would say, has pulled out her bazooka, and that was a popular term during the financial crisis of 2008, 2009, where you had regulators come out and essentially do everything they could in terms of trying to jaw on the market, in terms of also regulations and other actions to prevent a wider banking crisis. I think you have seen in the past week and a half, as things have, I would argue, have gotten worse in the banking industry. You've seen regulators take a page out of that 2008, 2009 Great Recession playbook and apply it to now. They do not want to see more banking failures. They do not want to see more people lined up out of a bank like a Silicon Valley bank, like that situation unfolded about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. They do not want to see any of that, because if we have learned anything in this crisis over the past week and a half, it's that this is a digital-led economy, and news and bad information could spread very quickly, especially in the banking industry. It could really take down the markets and might even take down another bank.
Yeah. Brian, thank you so much for your analysis.
Thank you.
Sound like a broken record here, but let's get the latest on a major storm system that continues to impact the West.
Meteorologist Michelle Grossman joins us now with more. Michelle, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you both. I know it is week after week, really month after month, and storm after storm. We have some video out of San Diego yesterday because we all saw that heavy rain falling from LA to San Diego, some flooded roadways, really tough travel once again. Hard to see some of these roads. Roads were closed as we went throughout Tuesday, and we're looking at submerged cars as well. Just really tough pictures. And it does seem like every single day we see these new pictures. We're going to continue to see these pictures as we do have these atmospheric rivers still coming on shore. That was a 12th one yesterday. We're still seeing that heavy rain today in spots. We're seeing some snow as well. That one is due to a really slow moving system. You kind of see that spin there. That's a system. It's moving very slowly inland. And that's why we're seeing the lingering rain. We're seeing the lingering snow. This is all going to move inland into portions of the Great Basin, into portions of the Rockies as well. Then we have a second system in the upper Midwest. It's bringing snow to portions of the upper Midwest, northern Minnesota into Wisconsin, really the U.S.-Canadian border as well. We could see up to a foot of snow in some spots. We have some rain falling in portions of the Tennessee Valley. That would stretch all the way to the Carolinas as well. So winter alerts are in place once again, still feeling very winter-like in the west in spots, especially the higher elevations. So the southwest along the coast of Florida, coast of California, into the Rockies as well, the Great Basin. We will be measuring feet of snow once again in some spots. And then as we move further east, the upper Midwest, we do have a winter storm warning in the pink, and we do have a winter weather advisory in the white. Flood watches. So we're looking at snow. We're looking at rain. We have 17 million people impacted. Where you see the green, that's your flood watch. The flash flood warnings, they pop in and out. That's what's happening right now. So that's what we're going to see throughout the day. And that's what you really need to take concern with, because that's where we see the potential for some flash flooding and some really dangerous travel. Then we have the wind on top of that. We have power outages already. We're going to add to that today. We're going to see winds up to 50, 60 miles per hour. So 7 million people impacted, especially into the southwest, into the Rockies as well. A high wind warning. That's where you sort of see that pink purple color. And we're going to see those winds really gusting. That could take down some trees and also some power lines as well. This is what we're looking in terms of gusts. Look at Pueblo, 63 miles per hour, but generally anywhere in this area, we could see some really gusty winds. So the west stays unsettled today. We have that area of low pressure that's slowly moving over California, bringing that lingering rain and snow. We have snow moving into the Great Basin and also the Rockies. And then tomorrow, another storm system aims for the Pacific Northwest. So it looks like Southern California, you're going to get a bit of a break, and then more rain and snow into Northern California. We're talking anywhere from a quarter inch up to an inch in some spots. And we could see rainfall rates of a half inch as we go throughout the morning hours, especially. Snowfall, we're looking at quite a bit of snow as well. Where you see those brighter colors, the pinks, the purples, that's where we're expecting the highest amounts. And when we say that, that's in the highest elevations of the mountains. So again, looking at feet of snow in some spots. Elsewhere, we are looking at some storms in the Ohio Valley. We're going to see rounds of showers there and a big time warm up. We'll show you that in the next hour, but we're talking 80s and some temperatures 15 degrees above normal for this time of year. Ooh. So a bit of good news.
I bet some people are going to be happy about that.
Exactly. We need to end in some good news.
All right. Thank you, Michelle.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.